Assalamualaikum and greetings everyone. I would like to show you how to plot several curves on the same graph. For example, for this data, you just need to click on this table, right click, copy, and then go to Excel spreadsheet. So we just paste this one, right click, paste, and then maybe we can adjust this column size. It's not necessary, but it's just an option. So the next step is to click insert, and then we have several type of graph or charts that we can choose. For example, for this example, maybe the best one is to use scatter, okay, with marker or without the marker. For example, in this case, we have too many points, so maybe it's best for us to remove the markers. Otherwise, your graph will look too messy. So maybe we can choose the scatter with smooth line. So you will have a blank graph like this, okay, without any data. So you just need to right click and then select data, and then you need to add to include the curve that you want to insert in this graph. So click add. So we have several parameters that they have to insert. The first one is the series name. Okay, either you can write by yourself, okay, write it NACA 2215, or you can choose from the table. Click here and then choose NACA 2215. And then for the X value, okay, for example, in this case, the X value is the angle of attack. So click here this one and then click on the first data and then drag your mouse until to the last data points. And we do the same for Y axis. For NACA 2215, click on the first data and then drag your mouse to the last data. Okay, so once you have all the data, click OK. So now you already add the first curve. To add for the second curve, just need to click add, and then you have the same thing you have to do. So for example, for the series name, I just choose from the table for NACA 4415. X axis. Okay, here instead of you click on the first data and drag your mouse, we also can click on the first data and then you press Ctrl Shift and the downward arrow. So Excel will automatically takes all the points on that column. And then we choose OK here, and then we click for Y axis for NACA 4415. I click on the first data and then press Ctrl Shift and downward arrow. Done for the second curve. So now we have two curves here. To add for the third curve, click add, and then for the series name, I choose from the table NACA 2122, and then for X axis is the same, angle of attack, press and then press Ctrl Shift and the downward arrow. For the Y axis, click on the first data and then press Ctrl Shift and the downward arrow. Okay, done for the third curve. And for the last one, click add. Okay, let's say for example the last one I would like to write. So NACA 012 for X axis. I just click on the first data and then Ctrl Shift downward arrow. And then we do the same for the Y axis. Click on the first data and then press Ctrl Shift and the downward arrow. Okay, so now we have all the four curves on our graph. So when we have all the data, then just click OK. So now we have all the curves on the same graph without any information. To add the information on this graph, so just need to click on the graph, then click design, and then we have the option here, add chart elements. So when you click here, so there are several information that we can include in our graph. Okay, for example, in this case, we would like to add the axis title. Okay, for example, for X axis, we just need to choose primary horizontal and then name it angle of attack, and we For angle of attack, it has a unit, so you just need to include the units, degree, and then we do the same for the y-axis. For the vertical axis is CL, and CL has no unit. And then maybe we want to include the chart title, so we include the chart title here. The chart title should be CL versus angle of attack. It's always y-axis versus x-axis. And then the next step, maybe if you want to adjust the scale for our axis, so just need to click on this axis, double click. Okay, then we have this option. Okay, axis option. Then here you have the option to change your axis, the scale and so on. For example, I can change this one, the minimum is 0.4, and then the unit, the scale is every 0.2. So it will change automatically your scales on the graph. You can do the same for the x-axis, for example, in this case. And also, if you want to edit your line for axis, for example, you want to have a thicker line, so you just need to click line, solid line, and then choose maybe the black color, and then you can click this, the thickness, to change, to make it thicker, and do the same for the x-axis. Okay, so we can choose the black color, and then increase the thickness of the line so that we can differentiate between the x and y axis with the grid line. So this grid line also an option, either you want to include it or you can remove it. To remove it, just click delete, so it will remove from our graph. Okay, so it's just an option. Or maybe you also can adjust it by double click here, so you can adjust the color, or you can adjust the size and so on. Okay, if you want to change the font size, the font type and so on, just click on the graph and then go to home. Then you have the option to choose type of font as well as the size, for example. And if you want to change the color for the curve, for example, just double click on the curve, and then you can choose the solid line, and then choose any color that you wish to put. Okay, for example, we change to the black color. Okay, to get the information for the curve, for example, the black curve is represent what, the blue line is represent what. So you just need to go to your design, add a chart element, and then you need to include this legend. Okay, and then you can choose where you want to put this information. For example, if you want to put on the bottom of the graph. Okay, so you have this information. So meaning that the black line here is represent NACA 4415 and so on. It's very important to include this information so that people will understand your graph. That's all for now. Thank you very much.